Hi, how are you today? I'm Patricia Durgan, the Christian Message Coach. Welcome to One Step Closer, a live show designed to help Christian communicators like you monetize their message. Today is our first show, and I'm so glad you're here. We'll get together like this every weekday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, I'm going to show you how to turn 6 seemingly random services into a systemized selling machine. This is particularly suited for Christian coaches and consultants, but it'll help everyone. So we have 6 steps. Oh, no, we have 5. We have 5. Step 1, review all your offers. Get everything out on an imaginary table. Let them hopefully organize themselves once they're there. But if not, we're going to go to step 2, which is choose which ones you can drop. Now, don't get excited. I'm not asking you to stop offering a service. I'm asking you to put all of the services that you offer, whether it's programs, products, or actually services, put them all out on an imaginary table and then decide if the main thing doesn't rise immediately to the surface, then start looking at everything and decide which ones you can move to the shelf for a little while. If you can't figure out which ones that you need to do that with, ask yourself, how long has it been since anyone has needed this product, program, or service? Did I just create this like 6 years ago and it's just sort of available on my website, but nobody really wants it? Nobody's really asked me about it. So true, it may be a marketing issue. I'll give you that. But that's not what we're here for. We're not here to solve the marketing issue, the marketing problems of a product that you haven't sold in a long time. We're here to find out, excuse me, how to take what you do have and streamline it into a system. So everything that you haven't sold or no one has asked you about in a year or more, let that go. And again, don't be scared. Just put it over to the side on your imaginary table. Hello, Labriska. Hello, David. So good to see both of you, familiar, happy, warm, and welcoming faces. Thanks so much for being here. Okay, so we've put everything out on an imaginary table. We've reviewed it, and the main thing, it did come to the surface, and we're moving on, or it didn't, and we want to look and see, is this really valid anymore? Maybe it was fantastic at the time. Even if you sold 100 of them or 1,000 of those products or services or programs way back when, if it's not pulling its weight now, let's just move it over to the side, because you can always bring that back to life. You can reshape it, remarket it, and all kinds of different things. But right now, our goal is to identify your main thing. You may recognize it because hopefully it did come right to the surface once you got everything out on that table. But if it didn't, and it's still a little vague, a little foggy for you, ask yourself these three questions. Now remember the setup we've got. We've got X number of offers or programs or products. And we're trying to decide, because we can't figure out which one is the main thing. So it looks like all of them are equal or pretty close to equal in importance, in value, maybe in cost, perhaps in the interest of your clients. Clients are interested in each of them equally. Well, here's the problem though. It's okay to do that with 1 or 2 or 3 products. It's okay to do that when you're an individual, you have limited amount of time, so you can spread yourself thin up to a certain point, but beyond that, your rubber band is stretched as far as it can be stretched. So you're not mad at your other offers, but you're saying, I have a limited amount of time, resources, energy, and I need to put some hierarchy of structure within the framework of my business. And if you could even consider it a test, so that you choose one thing as the main thing and everything else is either an ancillary product, a complementary product, or it's shelved for a period of time. Let that rest and sit for 3 months, 6 months. You decide. And see how that flows in your marketing message with the clients that Christ brings your way. You can always change it around. There's no points taken off for reshaping your message. The goal is we're looking for the thing that has the most punch. So which of these services that seem to be similar, seem to be equal in importance and depth and results, which one do you enjoy doing the most, delivering the most, serving the most? Which one is your favorite? I know you're not supposed to have a favorite like a favorite child, but it's okay to have a favorite program, okay? Which one, question number 2, when we're trying to decide of this, let's say there's 6 there on the table that all seem to be so similar, it's hard to tell which one is the flagship program, your signature product. We want to find out which one do you enjoy most, which one is the most interesting to you, to potential clients, and question number 3, which one is the most marketable? And this one is a sticking point because questions 1 and 2 are easy hurdles to overcome. But question number 3 puts a completely different tone into the mix. What are you gifted to do, and who are you gifted to serve, and how will Christ allow you to make an income, draw an income from those efforts? So if it's your pet baby and you don't want to give it up, that's completely fine. Let it live. But don't market it as your signature product or service. Make it a complimentary service, that even potentially a free service that you offer in a written form, PDF, a video training, 1, 2, or 3 video trainings. Offer it. Give it life. Give it permission to live and thrive and draw people to you. That's completely acceptable. But if it's not marketable, meaning if you are unable to earn even a small income from it, then something needs to change, because we're here to help you market your message so that you can monetize it and serve both your family and your audience. And only Christ can help us do that, right? So this is what we're doing. First, we want to review everything that we've got going. Then we want to choose which ones we can drop and set aside, identify the main thing from that bulk left. And if not, we're going to ask, which one of these, all these, do I most enjoy delivering? Which one is the most interesting to my potential clients? And which one is the most marketable? Okay, so we've identified all those. Hello, Chad Thibodeau, Kathy McDougall, and Gail Johnson. Thanks so much for being here. I love it. Number 4, step number 4. We've already gone through the first 3. Step number 4 is shelve the offers and products and programs that aren't getting a lot of activity, at least for a while. You know that there are people that we feel like we just cannot do without in our life. We can't function without that person. But what sometimes we forget, that time has passed and the connection is still there. We still love them and vice versa. But the relationship has gone cold, and whether it's through anybody's fault or it just is a dormant, because relationships ebb and flow, right? So do products and services. They have their moment in the sun. We're looking for, in this search, we're looking for the product, program, or service that is going to be, is now, or could be your flagship or signature offer. This is what you're going to lead with. We're going to, I'm getting ahead of myself. Next, we're going to go to step 5. We're going to structure everything that's left. We've chosen one thing, even if it was a seemingly random choice, and hopefully not. Because when we pray, the Lord leads us and He helps us, guides us, teaches us. He whispers to us in the middle of the night and He says, that's the one. That's the one I want you to focus on. And what's interesting is that sometimes that's the one that might have been like the redheaded stepchild. You might not have even realized the impact that could make, even if it's not making one now. And if He identifies it as the one He wants you to move forward on as your flagship program, follow His guidance always. He's the best marketer in the world. So we have chosen one. We want to structure everything else. So how do we go about doing that? Now, of course, your main thing is at the top, right? Your signature product, your flagship program, that's at the top of the hierarchy. And everything else goes beneath that in some way. Is it something that really needs to have its own product line, which is possible? Not as important as your main thing, but still, it's really not quite doesn't really streamline into your main thing. It doesn't really, you thought it did, but it doesn't really coordinate with your main thing. Mark and Alicia Olson, how wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. If that's the case and you find out as you do this simple exercise, if you find out that you've been selling blueberries and you thought that strawberries were somehow, right up underneath where they belonged in the blueberry category, actually, blueberries and strawberries, as we all know and love, are two different categories. So take them out, separate them out, and give them both a chance to live. But still remember, you have a limited amount of time and resources to focus on anything. So we're going to structure what we have left, put something at the main thing at the top of the hierarchy chain with God's guidance and your past history with clients who did or did not enjoy it, whether it has gone and become marketable, or maybe it's the first time that you're just going to, by faith, you're just going to take a leap and you're going to make that your structure, your flagship program. Completely fine. This is one of the fallacies of being online and trying to sell or market online, that we have a tendency to feel, and culture, the online culture encourages us to feel this way, that we have to get it exactly perfect the first time. There's no room for error, and it can ever change. Oh, what? That's going to kill you. It's going to kill you. This is what puts us in a straitjacket, and we feel that we're not pleasing God when actually we're living in a rigid casket, immobile, unable to move. Life is about fluidity, and online marketing is absolutely about fluidity. So it's not that we're saying you give something a go and it didn't work and you do something completely different. We're selling blueberries and strawberries today. Now, we just sold blueberries to start with. Let me back up. First, we were just selling blueberries. And then we had strawberries up underneath that category. And we found out, hey, this is actually two categories. This is great news, because even though it's going to take more time, it's also two product lines. So you're already ahead of the game just from this simple exercise. But then there's going to be a time where you're going to run into something that's not as valuable as you thought it was, or it's going to draw your attention away, and somebody's going to come along and suggest that if you didn't do it right the very first time, and if it wasn't absolutely perfect, then really, what are you doing online anyway? And this is a tragedy. That may sound dramatic, but it is a tragedy, because you have a message that you are uniquely gifted to serve, to deliver, to offer. And there are people out there that you have never met and will never meet. But you can serve them from your home office if you dare. Will you dare? Will you dare to take a leap of faith and try? Choose something, use it, work with it, deliver it, package it, market it, and see how it goes. Now, this is how everybody that's successful online does it. They just don't show you the behind the scenes part of it. Everybody does this. And if you don't do it, it paralyzes you and shuts you down. And then you feel that you have disappointed God, or he let you down in some vague way. And actually, you're not really capable of this anyway. We pull that shroud over our head and we sulk for weeks or months or years. This is not God's plan for you. I don't know what his plan for you is, but I do know that he's consistent. And if he has gifted you with a message and he has gifted you with an audience, then there's magic there. It's spiritual magic. I'm not sure that's actually a, a phrase. I encourage you to take that leap of faith. Get everything out. Let's go through this process again. We're going to review all of your offers. We are going to choose one. Excuse me. We're going to choose which ones we can drop. We're going to move them aside. They can live another day. We're going to identify the main thing. Even if we have to randomly choose it, we're going to identify the main thing. And with God's help, there's no reason to have to choose it randomly. Okay? Then we're going to shelve all those other offers for a while, for a period of time. They're still valid, or you'll find out that they weren't really, but they seemed that they were at the time. And maybe they were at the time, but they're not now. Again, fluidity in marketing. Then we're going to lead. After we've got that structure, we've got the main thing at the top, and everything else that still belongs in your program bucket, your offer bucket. Put that in hierarchy structure. Then we're going to lead with that every time we have a social media post. We do a Facebook Live training. We are interviewed on the radio or on a podcast. It's so easy. It's so simple that it seems too easy, but it's really that easy. Now, execution is always a little more challenging. And yet you can do it. You can do everything that we've talked about here and more. You've done much harder things than create a program. Important as it is, you've done much more difficult, challenging things. You can do this too. Join me tomorrow. I'm going to look at the comments here in just a half a second. But join me tomorrow. We're going to talk about the dangers. I got to look at my notes. The dangers and delights of having dozens of ideas, and how to know which ones to focus on this week. I pray this show helps you get one step closer to monetizing your message. Now let me go and take a peek at the comments if we have any. Okay, we're good there. Hey, Dave Williams, good to see you. Hello, David Winters. I see your hello, and I appreciate your support. Thank you for being here. I enjoy speaking with you. I look forward to more. Thank you, Kathy. Always so encouraging. I'll talk to you tomorrow at the same time. What is it they used to say on Batman when we were kids? Same bat time, same bat channel, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, every weekday, right here. Thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye.